Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sydology 101. Let me just be real because it's been a whole crazy 2 hours, but I am excited for the drama-filled episode that we have today. Yes, it's going to start off a bit sketchy because there's some scams involved in this episode, but also we are going to get into dentistry for our episode of We Listen and We Judge. And I have such a story for you today. But before we get into that, I have Kendall, who is joining us today, who is FOA coaching, one of our coaches and my partner. And then we also have our amazing executive assistant here at FOA coaching, Estie Robbins. So y'all, I don't know if everyone has encountered this before, but I just got scammed. Today, I got a phone call from this guy, and it sounded pretty legit from our 402 number here in Nebraska. And he goes, "Hey, I'm with the sheriff department." I'm like, "Okay, who died? Who got into a car accident?" Worst case scenario went right through my mind. Oh my God, straight to panic. And of course, didn't get a badge number, didn't get a name. All I know is sheriff department. Oh my God, I don't remember fighting recently, and I'm pretty sure I paid my parking tickets. So what the heck happened? Instantly went to death. But come to find out, apparently there has been a scam, and I was subpoenaed to show up for a federal case of identity theft. And the chick, I guess today was her first day of trial, and I didn't show up. So that makes me someone who I guess is now wanted by the feds. Don't know why the sheriff department, now that I'm thinking about it, why didn't U.S. Marshals come pick me up? All I know is dude is threatening me with 120 days of jail time, and I'm a flight risk. And I also have to show up, get in my car, drive to the sheriff office at this address that I still have no idea what it was, and turn myself in. And I'm just like, what the fuck is happening right now? Thank God that I have my amazing assistant. Somehow along the conversation, I don't even know where you disappeared to, but she was not there for the beginning of this conversation. And thank goodness she came in. I instantly grabbed her phone. I was like, "Hey, I need to record this." I put it all on speaker. I started to record it. And Essie is listening to it, and she's just, "Wait, hang on." And I don't even know where you got the second phone from. Somehow she had an imaginary phone. She looks down, she's trying to get the number off of my phone and call. And she just Nancy Drew'd it. And I have to be so grateful for the fact that I did have you, because in my mind, I was like, the first thing I thought was, I need to record this. Second, I need to figure out how I need to get in contact with my husband to find out, okay, wait, am I about to be arrested? And then who the fuck signed this whole thing? The whole thing for him was, you got a certified letter and you signed for it saying that you knew the court date. And I'm like, I don't know a court date, but if anybody knows Justin Robinson, that motherfucker is, sorry for all the curse words, everybody, but this is how now heated I am about this. He is so responsible that there's no way on earth that he would have told me. And at the moment, it didn't click, but I know my subconscious was telling me that there's no way. The only person that would have signed for it was my husband. So I'm really excited, happy and grateful that Estie was there, because she Nancy Drew the fuck out of that. She called the sheriff department. We got the badge number, the name. But it was still scary, though, that...
No, but that's the thing, you guys, is that Sydney is a very smart person. They're not preying on stupid people. They use fear. And so it's not about not being smart enough to figure out you're being scammed. It's the fact that this guy would not let her talk for a second. He said that she was going to go to jail, and it was just nonstop barrage of words to try to keep her from thinking for herself for even a second. And
Yeah, because in
does
that
everyone...
moment, you're so scared that you can't think right. You're like, oh my gosh,
Exactly.
okay, what do I need to do?
Yeah. Part of me, though, do feel like that whole, everybody knows I have a different side of me where I am a ride or die. Part of me was just like, I remember I sat in the chair for a long time. I knew I needed to record it. I knew he's telling me that we have this gag order But of course, I put the goddamn phone on speakerphone. I'm letting her listen to this. Although I was scared, it was that thing of in my mind, I knew that something wasn't right here. And I really like that for us, like we're problem solvers. We're going to try to figure this out. And it just goes back to the people that you have around you. As long as you have the right people around you and you guys can just figure things out. I can only imagine if I had someone that was super panicky, who just don't know really how to handle high pressure. But overall, when we got towards the end of it and he wanted me to get in my car and leave, there's no way that I was getting in my car. And I was trying to put him on mute. And I just look over and I knew I was going to say, you're going to have to sit in the back seat. I don't know what we're going to have.
And I would have.
I would have put a cover over you. Now, would I have left? I know I'm smart enough to know that if I pull up to a Walmart parking lot, I'm not stopping. There would have gotten to a point where he would have gotten me, but I know the flag was there. And I think that it was, again, I just have to be so grateful that I have Estie here who just jumped into action along with me. And although, yes, it took 45 minutes, he did scare me.
No, you guys have
Yeah.
to be careful because scammers are getting so smart that my grandma, before she passed away, got scammed twice by somebody pretending to be my uncle, saying that he had to be bailed out of jail. But scamming isn't just like for the old people anymore. They'll go after anyone. So just be careful and don't go to a secondary location and don't let them isolate you, okay? Because that's what they were trying to do, was isolate her so that she had no like voice of reason there.
Horrifying. Like it really is horrifying to me because think about people who fall for this. It's just like what happens? I want to know. My curiosity is I want to know what happens, but I don't.
Yeah, we should have just gone, Sydney.
I know that's what Justin goes. He goes, yeah, you should have probably just seen how far. And in his mind, they probably wanted you to show up at a Western Union for the money. But of course, okay, now here comes the other side. All right. And y'all know I read these dark romance novels. Everybody knows it. It's not a secret. I talk about it in my onboarding. I talk about getting to know people. Everybody knows I like my dark romances. Dark romance kicked in. And the thought was, okay, but what if this person wanted to kidnap me? I'm in the middle of Nebraska. This is the middle of nowhere. Who lives here besides me and Estie? But who lives?
Not that small of a city
here, right? So I was like, okay, this is something out of one of the books or one of those documentaries. And yeah, maybe they did want my money and my identity. But what if they wanted more? Okay.
What if he wanted a piece of my heart?
Yeah, my heart. That's what they wanted.
That's not what Sydney was thinking.
To fall in love. But what's funny is after all the things, chaos dies down, right? Instantly, I go to Estie and I turn around and I go, I read these books. And he probably would have had me if he did sound handsome. And Estie, please do the voice that you did.
Like, all right, man, we're going to get this taken care of for you. If he just had that Southern charm and he wasn't so freaking rude, they probably would have had her.
They would have had me all day. I'm like, yep, sign me up. Got you. Yes, I trust you 100%. I'm in the wrong. I should have showed up for court.
Oh.
Do you have handcuffs?
Do you have handcuffs? Oh my God. All right. Now, segue into crazy things that happens in the workplace. Now, I know that is what happened to me today, but in this episode of We Listen and We Judge, this episode is really for those out of the box, crazy things that happen in the dental practice that, we do want to hear you out. We want to hear your story, but just going to be real, we may judge you for it. Because in that moment when I thought about that 6'3" handsome Southern belle that was about to kidnap me, I probably would have gotten in the car.
Take me away, sir.
So go ahead and judge me.
All right, you guys ready for the first one?
Yes, we're ready.
Okay, these are all going to stay anonymous, you guys. We had a former front desk person also get pregnant by her boyfriend while her husband was in prison. Her husband didn't want her to have the baby, so she called in sick to get an abortion. No sugarcoating whatsoever. She then had to make a second appointment because the first one wasn't complete, only in dental. I'll put the nail in the coffin with this story. So we ended up giving her a severance just to get her to go away. Her boyfriend was shot and killed while they were on a date right in front of her. What a reason to call in sick. I hope to never top that story.
Holy cow. I don't even know what to say to that.
So do you think her husband like had him killed from prison?
Absolutely.
He was in like prison, not like jail, but like prison.
It says prison.
Yeah. Oh, then yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Y'all need to clean up. Y'all are messy.
Great. Okay, hang on, time out. Oh God. Homegirl is married.
Yeah.
Got a boyfriend who's out. Get pregnant by said boyfriend. Husband who's in prison does not want the child. Okay, got you. We don't need the child. Sweet Jesus, that's fucked up. Now we're going to continue on with, oh, by the way, my said boyfriend, who I had that child by, who my husband didn't want, just gets murdered in front of me and I need a sick day. Girl, you need therapy.
Well, and who does that? Who doesn't like when you're calling in for a weird reason?
Yeah, leave something to the imagination, please.
Yes. Like you don't come out and say that. I need a personal day. That's all you got to say.
Yeah.
There's a lot that needs to unpack there. I get it. Leave it all to the imagination. We should have probably asked for witness protection, some counseling, or what were your life choices? Like, you don't have to be a product of your environment. You can always change.
Also, did anybody introduce this poor girl to condoms at any point? Could have all been avoided.
It sounds like a no.
Yeah. Can we talk about the birds and the bees?
Yeah, for real.
Also, on a serious note, though, I know that certain people grow up in different environments, right? And I know that there are life cycles that happen. I really do value all of my team members. I care about what they go through outside of work. And this is one of those moments where I want to say, and especially when it was brought to my attention, hey, my husband is in prison. I have a boyfriend and I just got impregnated by my boyfriend. But guess what? My husband, wait, come back. Let's bring this.
Pull up a chair.
Yeah, get this chair. Let's sit down and let's talk about this. Because as much as in this episode, I want to judge, but as a human being, we may have to have a conversation. If you can't have a conversation with this person because you can't relate, we may need to get help. We may need to say, hey, I'm happy to get you a counselor, or is this person threatening you? Do you feel safe? Because
yeah,
you're
that's what I was going to say, Sid, is making sure that person is safe. As a leader, that's your job. Are you safe? Are you okay?
I know we're like, I'm giggling and I know we're talking about these things, but I can't help but think that if that was one of my team members and I grew up in not so privileged area, I grew up in the hood and I've seen things happen and I know what that looks like. And so for me, I'm just like, I can't help but think, do you know that there's a different way? Or is this person controlling you? Or I know the area that this office is in, so I know that there could be gang related or anything like that in the area, and I understand that. However, I just know for me, there's been multiple people in my life that has completely changed the trajectory. Like I could have gone one or two ways. And if I didn't have some type of positive light or someone tell me, hey, you can actually do this, or if that one professor who was like, I think you're dyslexic, if he never just actually pulled me aside and said, I think this is what this is versus you're just a dumb girl, I probably wouldn't have known. So sometimes, guys, when we hear this, and I know in that message, what was it? Like we offered a severance just to get this person away. I'm now going to judge the leaders in the practice and say, did you offer any type of Do you feel safe? Is there anything that I can do? Because just, I understand these are life choices. I understand that, like we just said, have we had a conversation about the birds and the bees? I understand that side of it. We can talk about that all day. However, maybe this person also needed a different type of conversation. You don't have to make that decision because of one man. And I will have to say for that, I'm also going to judge the leaders. What did you offer to make this person know that you have their back and that you practice your core values? We believe in family. We believe in emotional intelligence. Maybe this person has been scared their entire time and no one's ever been in my corner. Thank you for doing this. But at the end of the day, this is my life. I can't escape it.
Yeah, it's hard because I'm sure that there was a lot more that went on besides what we're reading. Like, who knows how long of a time period this took place over. I certainly hope that they reached out to this person and was like, hey, this is messy, but nobody deserves this. But yeah, like everybody's to varying degrees been a stupid kid, and all it really takes is one adult, like real grown adult, who's willing to be like, girlfriend, hang on, and really be a mentor to somebody.
Yeah. Ooh, that was a good one. Man,
Yeah.
sketch though.
Okay, let's lighten up a little bit. My office manager decided to increase the pay of our cleaning person without asking me. We did an expansion and she increased the cleaning person's salary from 125 to 250 without asking and has been doing so for the past 6 weeks. It is my office manager's mother-in-law. I think this is stealing. How would you address immediate termination? I really would like the position filled prior to termination, but I feel like this is such a violation of trust.
I feel like this is a communication issue. If the office manager felt like they had the authority to do, that's a communication issue between the owner and the office manager, and a conversation needs to be had. I wouldn't necessarily say it's grounds for termination or theft unless I know that there was that conversation and it was clearly stated that those things need to go through the owner. But I think it's a communication issue at the basic level.
Yeah, I have to agree. And I have to also think about it from this perspective. Just remove the family relation title to it, right? Any type of cleaning company, if I went from 2,800 square foot to 4,800 square foot, wouldn't there be a price difference?
Yeah, I would think so.
When you talk about communication, yeah, when we first originally did this, the office was at X amount square feet. It was probably maybe 5 operatories. Maybe you went from 5 or 7 operatories to now 12, 18 operatories. I don't know how big of an expansion this was, but let's think about it from this standpoint. If I take away the family affair part of it, and we agree because of the square footage, the amount of time that this person is coming to the practice, this is what our fee is. And was that negotiated off of square feet? Because I know with my cleaning lady, yep, it is how many rooms she has to clean. So in this case, this goes back to, we got to check our assumptions because I don't know anything about this. I don't have all the details. I wish we could have this person on here and we can ask all of these questions. But my first thing that I would do is, come on, be realistic. Is it because that there's family ties? Or is it because that, hey, I don't give this person any type of approval to increase anyone's salary? That's not a salary, everybody. Let's be real. That's not a salary. That's
right. It's like an office expense.
It's an invoice.
Right. It's office expense that you are paying, and this person is billing you either on a weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly basis. That's not a salary. I don't clock in or clock out. So I'm going to be real. Maybe this is a bit harsh, but let's remove that from the topic of conversation too. Second thing is that I do feel the OM should have went to the doctor prior to. I'm not going to sweep that under the rug because there are family ties. If I was in that OM situation, I would say, hey, this was what we originally agreed to based off of this square footage or based off of the number of hours that's going to take her to clean. And because we expanded, I just want to bring to your attention that this is now her new price. And if I needed to, I probably would have shown like the website or any other pricing structure. That way she's seen that. So I do feel like there should have been a conversation on the office manager side because of those family ties. And then I 100% agree with you, Kendall. If this person feels really confident in their job, and I know, hey, especially for me, I'm not going to go to Mark or any of my owners for 100 or $150 difference. I'm
Yep.
not, because I know that I have a set budget. If my budget is X for the month, I know that I'm good because I'm going to stay within that budget. So maybe this person is super empowered and didn't come to you because of this. So now I'm going to go back to, did you just talk to them about it? I could be just assuming, and I don't want to do that. But I just want to make sure, just because this is your mother-in-law, you didn't increase the fee because they needed more money. And then that's when that person could have said, actually, no, this is because we expanded and now we're cleaning more space.
Yep. Which totally makes sense. Like all the details are in there. I agree with you, Sid. The office manager should have, taken that initiative and had that conversation in the beginning. But all the details are there that Esty read. There was expansion. Of course, the price is going to go up. That's normal.
And I really like what both of you said about checking your assumptions, because honestly, what we haven't talked about is, listen, I have an amazing mother-in-law. Not everybody does. And so let's say that maybe the mother-in-law was like, hey, your boss said that since you guys expanded, it's okay for my fee to go up to $250. I know you're in charge of billing, so I wanted to let you know. And maybe they had bad motives there. Maybe it really was just miscommunication. And the office manager was like, cool, thanks for letting me know. Changes their fee. Maybe it wasn't even like a decision that was really made on their part. They're just like following orders.
Yep.
That's that too. Yeah. So just leading with curiosity is the whole thing. Check your assumptions. I know I'm guilty of, I may see something initially and I am quick to react, which is why I'm so happy that now majority of our team members are virtual. But there are times where I just bite my tongue and I just try to find as much facts as I can. And I try to ask questions because at the end of the day, there's times where I'm wrong. It actually happened to me earlier today, but I was like, hey, this didn't get done. We'll come to find out, all I need to do is change a filter. It actually did get done. But just imagine if I would have walked in and was like, hey, you didn't do this. Now that person is upset, stressed out, or they may be defensive and like, joke's on you because I did do that. Here it is right here.
And that's embarrassing. It's so embarrassing as a leader. You're like, oh.
It is. Yeah, it really is. That was a good one, Esty. So for us leaders, lead with curiosity, ask questions, check your assumptions. And if you are right, and this person did increase fees, and you're like, hey, no, girl, no, that's not how it was, then you correct that. Do I think that we need to jump to immediate term? Immediately burn it down is essentially what I read there. Just burn it down.
Yeah.
What was the one thing for me today? Go straight to jail. Like you don't you don't get any type of whatever. You're going to spend 160 days in or 120 days in jail. Done.
Go get in your car.
Go get in your car and drive yourself to prison.
All right, thank you guys. We have another one here. I have an assistant that has become very disruptive due to interpersonal drama with another newer employee. After having a tough conversation with her about her recent behavior where I thought she may resign, she said, "You can fire me, but I'm not resigning." So while I'm hoping the discussion and write-up will end the bad behavior, I want to be prepared in case it does not. I also told her moving forward, if she has any outbursts in the office, she will be sent home immediately and written up again. I think I am also planning to write up the other employee. The disruptive employee accused the newer one of harassing and threatening her. I think those are buzzwords for talking under her breath passively aggressively, which has been discussed. But it is a serious accusation, and I want to be sure to handle this entire situation correctly. I've been a practice owner for less than a year. Any advice is greatly appreciated.
I think for me, I would be reassessing who I want on my team totally.
Yeah.
We want people that fit our core values and our culture, and that doesn't sound like a good fit in general. Either one of those people.
Generally, passive aggressiveness isn't really like a core value that people aim for.
Yeah. An outburst. No, thank you.
I think it interesting that it doesn't sound like they've all sat down in the room together and been like, hey, guys, tell me what's going on. Sydney, you're very quiet.
I'm naturally a fighter. And the first thing I thought, those are fighting words. Those are fighting words. Like, oh, you can fire me. That's just testing the waters.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things that are floating around social right now. Fuck around and find out. Okay. And I know what's going to happen here is that you are going to want to collect unemployment. And depending on what state you're in, then I'm going to have to make that decision. Am I going to pay unemployment? Or am I going to follow the steps? Because there are right to fire states that you actually don't have to pay employment because you have the right to fire someone. So I don't know where this place is, but it just depends. But those are fighting words. And in my mind, I can't help but think for those places that do have to do all the checks and balances, absolutely. Every week, I will write someone up for performance. And you just found out how bad it can get for you. I would also, if we're going to play those type of games, man, this is going to show how petty I am. Okay, I know that if I hire you, we have to have full-time employment. Maybe we need to cut back hours. But guess what? Full-time hours is X to here. You want me to fire you so that you can collect unemployment. You and I can both go two ways. Or I can completely make you a virtual employee and you can work from home and I can do all the things. So I know I'm being petty. I know that I went straight to, okay, you can find out just how bad this can be. But at the end of the day, I would have just paid the unemployment if that's what you're worried about. And as soon as those words left her mouth, she would have been out of the office.
Yep, that's what I was going to say too. As soon as she said that, I think I would have said, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and do that then.
Yeah.
Get your stuff and get out of here.
But you can also, I'm pretty sure that you can put that if it is unemployment and maybe check with your HR person. The petty side of Sydney came out, and I actually probably would have let that person leave, but she still would have been full time, and I would have made her work virtually, and she would have to show all the things that she did. So you don't have to physically be in this office, but I will make sure that I don't pay that unemployment. And you will also probably get a salary cut because now you pivot. So I would have forced that person's hand. Everybody, judge me if you want. This is a really safe place. This is we listen and we judge. I'm okay with you judging me. I am that petty. But the professional side, team coaching side of Sydney would have just told you for culture, you should just let that person go and fill it out in the state board. Make sure that you send out a letter as soon as you get that whatever you get from the unemployment office, that we all have to fill out the reason why, supply our documentation. I want you guys to know that not every single time they win. They really don't. They do get denied. So if you probably would have put that on your unemployment, that person, whoever is approving that, would have been like, well, you threaten to quit. And that's the word that I would have used. So that, hey, what happened here? And then I probably would have had that person sign a dismissal. Hey, I offered to let my doctor know that I'm not leaving. You can fire me. And so I agreed to let this person go because they threatened, and then had her sign it. She probably would have had no clue. I don't know. Some way I would have gotten my way in that, and I would have been the last person to laugh, or I would have sent this person a picture of me sitting on the beach sipping mojitos while I still have a full-time job.
Stop it.
I don't know. But listen, for all of my peeps that do follow us, I just want y'all to know, yes, I do think like that. Yes, I can get really dark. And I know that I feel you when you want to say these things and you can't say it. So
I respect it. I respect it.
yeah.
All right, I have another one here. Cultural concern with your practice versus your own emotional health has been a struggle for me as a new owner. I really want to care for my team and try to create a great culture to provide great dental care, but I am often feeling exhausted at addressing every little drama in the office. For example, 5 of my 7 team members planned an outing, and I was told deliberately left out 2 of my other employees. As there appears to be a significant gray area between drama/gossip and significant culture, what do you all do to not worry about every little thing and addressing it with the team? What things do you leave alone? I think figuring this out better will help alleviate a lot of lost sleep for me as I get on high alert for a team member leaving whenever I hear about more drama. Can I add something in here. So we had an office a while back where the owner came to us just venting about this same thing because they had it's a long story and I don't think we need to get into the specifics, but basically like they had a big company thing. It was company funded and the employees all wanted to do a potluck. There was a younger employee that had just come from her second job and didn't bring anything to the potluck, and they didn't let her eat. And honestly, when it came down to it, the owner wasn't there. And when it came down to like after the fact, she went to her office manager and she said, "You should have never let this happen. That's why you are there and you need to be a leader in the practice. Like this kind of like little thing, it should have never gotten to the point where it got to me because you should have stopped that right when it started." What do you
Yeah.
guys think?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say about the first scenario too, is to find an office manager who you really trust and can build a really good working relationship with so that not every little thing falls on the owner's shoulders. I feel like it's so important to find another leader in the practice who can deal with that day-to-day stuff and the bigger things like that. That's incredible. That's just insane to me that anyone thought that was a rational decision. No,
I
you don't get
know.
to eat. That's just awful. And yeah,
Say that it shouldn't have gotten to, Clay, can you clarify that for me? When
I'm saying that, in my opinion, that and in this owner's words, that they were not at the function to babysit this, but all of the team members and the office manager, they were all there. And the office manager should have stepped in and said, "Hey, this is fucking crazy to
gotcha. Okay.
not let a young girl eat because she didn't bring something to a potluck."
Yeah. Okay.
That stops right here.
Gotcha. Yes. 100% agree with that. That shouldn't, I don't need to hear about that. That's definitely my leadership team. And the two scenarios, this isn't the first time. Come on. Right? This isn't the first time that this has happened. This isn't the first time. I'm pretty sure if we had to look at either this hygienist or even this group of girls that isolated this person, this isn't the first time that this has happened. And this is probably a reoccurring thing, but we sometimes as leaders or as practice owners or as business owners, we keep people on our team because we are so afraid that at least they do this, but we're not seeing the other things that's happened. I'd rather have multiple Esties or multiple Kendalls on my team who willing to show up, emotionally intelligent, makes everybody feel welcome, helps work towards the goal, then have one person on my team who at least they do this. Okay, so who cares that they do it?
yes, I agree. I just think that kind of like snarkiness and pettiness and just backstabby, like I just think there's no room for it on a good team at all.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think that it shouldn't even be like, let's say that it really wasn't on purpose. Sometimes when you're a part of a team, you're going to have a group of like friends and then like your work friends, right? But if it's that, it's not two people going out and five people don't. If it's like the majority is going out, have a team that's emotionally intelligent enough to be like, hey, we do not want these people to feel left out. Even though that's not our intention, I can absolutely see how it would be perceived that way by them. Let's invite them
yeah,
to completely avoid that. You want to have people on your team that think of that beforehand.
right.
Yes.
I now I have to go, I have to look at this from two sides. Okay. Now I'm gonna exclude the potluck thing because that's fucking ridiculous. There's no two sides to that. She needs to get the fuck out of there. Okay. I said it. Done. That's done. Now, on the other side, who this is a group of people, I just think of Mean Girls at this point, and I think of that, but I know that I'm jumping to conclusions. And the reason why I feel like I'm jumping to conclusions is because I know that we sometimes hire, and you guys know I say this all the time, I want to hire people that fit our vibe. If we're not asking, I'm so sorry, leaders, we're really getting to you on this one, but again, I'm going to speak for myself. I used to hire people because I need someone who at least know how to assist. I need someone who at least know how to do billing or I don't want to have to do these things, or we're short staffed and I'm hiring out of desperation. I've been there, I've done that. And I forget that we have a whole culture. So if I hired, let's say, I hired a ton of college students, freshly graduated or freshly out of high school. And then I just hired 2 veteran employees who are established in life, who has a family, who's settled down, who has a lot of things outside, and they're more, hey, I'm past my partying stage. What do you think is going to happen there? Am I going to invite someone who, whenever we do try to plan something, oh, my kid has football, or my kid has after school, oh, I have to hurry and get home because I'm a single parent and I have to go do these things. Now, as much as I want to think mean girls in a situation, I also, on the flip side, have to think, wait, maybe, just maybe, that the dynamic actually caused for them to not invite these 2 people. Or I'm going to speak for my team. Now, my team is a bit different. We all wild out together, but on the 2 different sides, I have one side that are super nerds, gamers, all that jazz. One guy does like miniature painting or something like that, and they paint these little figurines. I don't know. Anyway, cool for him. Great. I want to see what happens. However, those are 2 different things. And I have one side who were like, yay, cocktails, farmers markets, let's go do these things. At the end of the day, those are 2 different perspective personalities. And there may be times where the group of people who like to go to concerts and farmers market may not include our introverted people because they know that's not their jam. And so who's making the big deal about this? Is it that someone else saw it? Is it that the person who's naturally introverted, who has nothing in common with these other people, they never invite me? Let's be real. Do you really like to do that? Would you have liked to have been invited? And then I'm going to put it back on them. Did you actually say, hey, I would have loved to attend that? If you guys ever have that happen again, let me know. Or are they causing drama because they got left out? So I think there's a couple different sides to that, to be, in my opinion. And we can go super left and say that was mean girl. But if I had to put myself in that practice owner situation, how I would have handled it, my first question is, did you talk to them about it?
Yeah. And I think as a leader, hiring people with the emotional intelligence enough to have some tact around those kinds of situations, because you're totally right. Sometimes there are 2 totally separate personalities and they don't mesh well. But if those people have emotional intelligence, they'll be planning the stuff away from the office so it doesn't cause a rift when it's right there in everybody's face.
Yeah, exactly. Like when I had birthday parties as a kid, we couldn't afford to invite 30 kids, so I wasn't allowed to talk about my birthday parties at school.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody fucking knows that. Everybody knows that.
Everybody. So now I know, which I'm so grateful for my team. I know this is so not, some people are like, ugh, I don't have this. I am grateful for my team, where I know that they have side chats, and I know that they talk about things unrelated to work. And guess what? I think isn't there one that's called like no bosses allowed or something like that. And one of you guys,
Yeah,
that is totally fine with me. I'm okay with that. But what is super cool to that is that I would get an invite. And there's times where we don't need to be invited to everything. But they also don't tell me every time they go out and do something. I had 2 gals that just went off and did their whole thing. Now, did I feel jealous? Absolutely. Why didn't I get invited to the concert? But at the end of the day, I probably would have said no anyway. So I got over it.
You have to be realistic like that. I know.
I got over it real quick. The instant I saw it, I was like, oh, I would have loved to go to that. And then my other side was like, girl, shut up. No, you wouldn't have. That was a really good one.
I think that makes sense.
You guys do have to hire people that fit your vibe. And I think we talked about this in our last workshop, how if you have someone that's sitting in the corner, And you're not asking these questions. Do you like murder mysteries? What's something, that you like to do outside of work? And they're all about their family and their kids. Everybody on your team likes to go and at least once a month have a cocktail hour. But if we all go out once a month and we do our cocktail hour, or we all like to play games and this person always excluded, but then the one time we plan something, we don't include them, now they get pissy about it. Is that a them problem or a us problem? So we got to look at that too. So I think emotional intelligence, making sure you're hiring people that have emotional intelligence who know, hey, I don't want anyone to feel left out. 2, redirecting, having people solve their own problem. Did you ask them or did you tell them, hey, if you ever do this again? And then 3, are you starting drama? Because if I would have went to those 2 girls and, hey, you didn't invite me to the concert, I would have loved to go to that. Again, that other side of me was like, girl, stop. Who is this band they even went to go see? I don't know.
It's just that initial feeling of being left out, I think,
Yep.
just
Yep.
as humans that we're like, hey, but then when you really think about it, you're like, oh, it's okay. It's really okay.
I wanted to go to music bingo the other night and I was like, I don't feel like getting dressed. I'm not putting makeup on. So if I have to do any of that, good luck. And I decided to stay in the house and read my dark romance novel.
All right, guys, I know that we're wrapping up. I do have this 1-star review and the response that I really want to read out just for the fun of it. So the doctor says she showed up at the office today. This is our employee's boyfriend's baby mama. We've called the police, but hopefully sometime with Clark Griswold will calm her down. So here is the review. While Jasmine was at work today during working hours at your dental practice on the clock, she decides to disrupt my day because she's a very unhappy person in the inside and is harassing me. I think she needs to have a mental evaluation before she works on any more patients and separates her work life and her personal. She is clearly not in the right state of mind. I went ahead and filled out a VPO with the police. I would highly consider having an employee evaluation done if she's able to perform working for you during working hours and harassing people during business hours while being employed. This is not okay and is extremely unprofessional, and I do not think this is a good representation of your practice for an employee to conduct herself in this manner. The owner's response is, you're not a patient of our practice and never have been. Your review is strictly a personal conflict between yourself and one of our team members. Your blatant defamation of her is uncalled for and will not be tolerated. We recommend that you consider singing a Christmas carol or driving around to view the holiday lights and get yourself some Christmas cheer. One of our favorites is Christmas Vacation. It can really get anyone in a better mood. We'd advise against the Grinch. Seems like you've got that covered already.
Oh, I love that. I love that leadership response.
Oh my God. That
one made me giggle.
gold. That is gold.
No notes.
I have no notes, no feedback for that.
Yeah, it is nice seeing someone back up their employees like that.
It is great to see it. And I'm listening to it and I'm just like, okay, where is this going? Because it sounds like this is either like a personal, obviously, like he said, hey, this is something personal that you guys are going through. But then the response to that was it was beautiful.
Yes, perfection.
Yeah, it was perfection. If I have to be nitpicky, I would throw in there, hey, all of our patients absolutely love this person, and just edified them in that sense. And I love the Christmas references, maybe not the Grinch, but Christmas Vacation. That was beautiful.
The petty part of me likes that they put that Grinch comment in there, though.
Right. That was purely personal. Yeah.
That was gold. Absolutely gold. I know some people, again, for the listeners, I know this is our safe place episode, but I know some of my mentors would say that's that part where you have to kill them with kindness. You have to apologize and keep a face. But my God, I completely disagree with that at this moment. You don't want to burn any bridges and that type of thing, but that is gold. These are really good ones.
Yeah, that's everything I have for you guys today.
Thank you guys so much. I know that this podcast is all about helping team members and leaders, and we talk about what's going on in the dental world. And I really love that we have this particular segment where we listen and we judge, because it really highlights that all of us go through. How many times we've gone to like our in-person meetings or our workshop and someone goes, I just realized that my office does not have it as bad as some of the other locations. I really love this. Thank you, ladies. I just appreciate you. And Estie, baller job with digging through and finding some of these comments and situations that happen. I am going to leave us with this. If you want to ever appear on the episode or on one of our podcast episodes and you have a wild, crazy story, we would love to have you. This would be really fun. We can obviously keep it anonymous, or you can always just submit some of these questions, because that's where some of these come from too. Hey, this is what happened in my practice. We would love to get into it with you. So thank you guys so much for this episode, and y'all stay tuned for next time.
Bye.